Network Dynamics, Chapter 6, Part 1, Introduction. This chapter is called Relevance Assumed. And it's a rather strange title, you might think, for a chapter which deals with demand shock dynamics, basically. Sudden increase in demand and how companies survive that. This is set in the services sector, in the sector of professional services. And the title comes from a poem by Robert Graves. Trusting his images, he assumes their relevance. Mistrusting my images, I question their relevance. And this is sort of about the academic or the scientific take on life. Many people are happy that they do have certain theories and they look to confirm them. Well, if you have an inquisitive mind, you always mistrust what you think and you're happy to find evidence that actually you were wrong. So when the fact fails him, this person that performs safeness, he questions his senses. When the fact fails me, I approve my senses. I know of one fellow researcher who had this poem on his wall all the time doing his PhD research. And this has to do with the fact, in this chapter, a sideline of this theme has to deal with performance indicators and balanced scorecards. And many people use those to confirm what they already know. And the case here was this one, of a company that was faced with an increase in the demand for its services, which in 5 years almost doubled. And how they managed to deal with that. And the obvious thing would be that they would have a huge bubble of work and far many people that they would need. But in fact, they managed to keep the increase in staff a lot more modest than the increase in files that these staff had to publish. And they managed to do this by increasing productivity quite considerably. So that's a prosaic reality. The contents of the chapter are as follows. There's a introduction, I'm doing that now. I'll have some theory on performance measurement and the balanced scorecard. There's a theme on performance indicators and what are good and bad performance indicators or bad. Pros and cons of using different kinds of performance indicators. The case setting, the Interpolis case setting based on the presentation that the director, general manager of our case company, Gerard van Laarhoven, gave in 2009, and the model and its overall loops. The rest of the clips are specific examples. These are really the gameplays, and they have to do with the sim that is also part of this model. So that's the content of this chapter.